Yes, 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 yes. Oh, yeah. Back with another one. Let's get this show started. First thing in the morning, we on King Supreme TV. Oh, yeah. Back on the ICE thing, the immigration thing. And yeah, man, we're talking about this ICE situation that's been going on for a minute. And you know me, man, I've been talking about this for the last few years, right? I've been talking about this ICE and immigration thing way before Trump got in office, right? You got a lot of Johnny come latelys who decided to talk about it because it's a trending topic. Man, but anyway, I think you guys already know if you've been rocking with me, man. I've been talking about this for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it like this, me being from California, Los Angeles to be exact, illegal immigration is a major problem in Los Angeles, right? You got communities that was once black that now looks like Mexico and Tijuana because of the open border policy. So, I understand this firsthand coming from the city that I come from, right? But today we're going to talk about Chicago, and Chicago has a large, immigrant population as well. It's a lot of Mexicans and, different groups of Latinos that's in Chicago as well. But the only difference between Chicago and Los Angeles is, or Los Angeles and California, California is a border state, right? So it's easier for them to overpopulate in a border state. And I got a video of this Latino cat talking about what he's a Mexican, and he's talking about how Mexicans and Latinos have been indoctrinated to dislike black people, to have hatred for black people, right? And we're gonna talk about that as well, man. So tap on in, let the games begin. You already know what to do. It's Red Supreme. Make sure that you hit that like button. You know. Shout out to my people, man. It's Monday morning. It is what it is, and it's time to get things rolling, man. You know, what up, Biggie? Shout out to Biggie in the chat, man. Biggie. My regulars, the usual. Illegal immigrants. Exactly. They're not immigrants, they're illegal immigrants. Shout out to Big E. Right. I did a stream yesterday with a white woman. What's her name? Lily Gaddis. Called black people invaders when blacks ain't never invaded America. Whites are the ones who invaded America and stole the land. Blacks didn't wake up one day and say, you know what, we're gonna invade America and we're just gonna come by the millions. That's never happened. You got blacks that are indigenous to this country, indigenous to this land. Then you have the white people who brought Africans over on slave ships. Those Africans never said, we're just going to invade America. White people got those Africans and brought those Africans to America for the sole purpose of building the nation, of building the country. That's exactly what happened. So if anybody invaded this country, it is white folks who invaded this country, not black people. Whites have invaded this country and Mexicans have invaded this country. Blacks are not invaders. So Lily Gaddis, you're a bird brain. You got a peanut for a brain. You're imbecile. Yeah, she tried to rewrite history by saying blacks and we're invaders. What? When we all know that the Europeans are the true invaders. Like you said, Biggie, it's mighty funny how people try to rewrite history. She fixed her dirty mouth to call us. She fixed her dirty mouth to call us invaders. I'm like, that has nothing to do with real history. That is false. That is a fantasy. Shout out to Go Gadget, man, for the super chat, man. I appreciate you for getting up in the comments, man, and blessing us with a super chat. Now let's get into this content right here. We're gonna talk about illegal immigration, ICE raids, and a Mexican cat talking about why Latinos were taught to hate black people. Let's get into this. Oh, and I got another thing. That I want to tell y'all. You guys know Gunners Collective, right? He's an ex-Northaniel, right? He's a dropout, right? Now, he was caught saying racist things about black people, right? There's a Mexican cat on YouTube by the name of I think his name Prisoner Awakening. And Prisoner Awakening he's an El Salvadorian, Mexican El Salvadorian, one of the two, right? Prisoner Awakening has a YouTube channel, but he has a black wife. He has children and a black wife. Gunners Collective called that dude's wife a mayate. And you got other Mexican podcasters calling Gunners Collective out for being racist. So shout out to the Mexican podcasters for calling out their own people. Gunners Collective, you gonna get it, my brother. Now, my thing is this. He got an intro on his YouTube channel that's now, who made that song? These are black people. His intro is a black song. These are black musicians. But when he got mad at this other Mexican cat, and this Mexican cat is married to a black wife, Gunners Collective called that man's wife a mayate. And I believe I'm gonna do some content on that either later on today or maybe tomorrow. But tap in for that one. It's gonna be good. Let's go. Yeah, Gunners Collective. That's what, homie. That's what Gunners Collective said about that dude's wife. Called her a mayate. Let's continue, though. Let's move on with the content. Shout out to Big E, man. You already know, Big E.
Of President Trump's cruel immigration crackdowns across the U.S. The Weekend Primetime has exclusively obtained extensive security video footage of an...
Now, these are ICE raids in Chicago and the immigrant community. They're complaining about it, but let's get to it.
Immigration raid at a home owned by a U.S. citizen in Chicago's wealthy Lakewood neighborhood. In this clip, you can see a federal agent jump the fence of the home, targeting construction workers who were on private property. A tenant whose face we are covering for her own privacy and safety told the agent in no uncertain terms that they do not have a warrant to enter her property. In another dramatic clip, you see agents try to pull a man out of a second-story window. Watch.
Close the window, close the window, close the window. Now. Oh, yeah. You have no permission to be on my property.
Hey!
The Chicago Sun-Times reports that 2 of the 4 men who were targeted at this home were arrested. It also reports agents tear-gassed neighbors on the residential block.
They're not playing, man. They don't want Chicago. Well, it's damn near like Los Angeles, but they don't want things to get worse. So now you have ICE agents arresting every illegal that they see in Chicago, even in the surrounding suburbs. So it is what it is. What they're doing is they're just enforcing the law. How are you going to get mad at ICE agents for enforcing the law? How are you going to get mad at them for doing their job?
Asked DHS which departments were involved and if warrants were filed. They responded with a statement reading in part, quote, Border Patrol agents were swarmed by agitators during enforcement operations near Lakewood Avenue in Chicago. The agitators obstructed federal law enforcement and ignored multiple warnings to disperse and continue to impede operations, including trying to deflate a vehicle's tire. Joining us now, Leo Feller, whose home you just saw in those images there. Also with us is Andrea Flores, Vice President of Immigration Policy and Campaign.
Now, this is what's crazy. You got people fighting. Like, listen, if you're here illegally, you don't have rights. The Constitution is not for illegals. The Constitution is for American citizens. So when I see these people talking, I'm fighting for the rights of, these are illegal immigrants. We're not even talking about legal immigrants. Keyword, illegal immigrants. And you're fighting for the rights of illegals? My God, this is dumb.
Campaigns at forward.us. Leo, I want to start with you. Thank you so much for joining.
Shout out to Fresh always for the super chat. I appreciate you, brother.
I'm sure this has been a difficult and traumatic experience. We've spoken before. You came home last night to blood all over your house. What happened? And did anyone ever show you or your tenant a warrant?
So thank you for having me on, Catherine. No, there were no warrants shown. This was a really surprising.
It's mighty funny when you come to arrest these illegal immigrants. They're talking about they're going to tell you to follow the law. When they're not following the law, they're here illegally. Imagine somebody that's here illegally tell you that you have to follow the laws before you arrest them. That's crazy. They're not following the law, but they want ICE agents to follow the law by every step. Make it make sense. Listen, it's my job. I can legally arrest you and detain you. That is the law. But guess what? You broke the law because you came here illegally in the first place.
And jarring and frightening attack. The gates were locked. The federal immigration agent jumped over the gates and onto the property. The workers ran into the house. My tenant was the one who was home at the time. She is a young 20-year-old woman. She let the workers come into the back stairwell. The workers came into my unit. You can see there in the images the amount of blood on the floor. I've spent most of the day cleaning up that blood. Surprising that this could happen. And I'm just appalled that in our country, federal agents can jump onto private property, jump onto a balcony of a private property, create this kind of chaos.
Leo, thank you so much for sharing this story with us. I wanted to read to you and our viewers how one of your neighbors described this to the New York Times. I wanted to get your thoughts. They say, in part, we're told by the government that these guys are criminals and rapists and thugs. This guy was just working a construction job, putting siding on a house. Talk to us about who these guys you hired to fix your home were. Are they people in the Are they the people in the administration tries to make them out to be, which is paint everybody as criminals and thugs and gangsters and drug dealers?
You are a criminal if you're in this country illegally. Do you guys want me to show you what Mexico is doing to people in Mexico who are there illegally? I'll show you in a minute what they're doing in Mexico. They're trying to legalize border hopping. If you're in Mexico illegally, they're going to consider you a criminal. It should be no different right here in the United States. If you're here illegally, you are a criminal. You just broke the law. You don't deserve special treatment.
So I hired a construction company. The construction company then hired these workers. So I didn't hire these workers directly. My understanding is, and my experience with them, is that they are wonderful people. They actually have the door codes to be able to get into my home. I see them, when they are here at 7 a.m. when they start working. I say goodbye to them at dusk when they leave, when it's too dark to continue to work. These are people who I consider friends at this point. After
hey, look, the federal agents came to, they came to that window like, oh, you're gonna lock the door. We're gonna climb through that window to come get you, like the boogeyman. We'll catch you if we can.
For 3-4
like the boogeyman.
weeks of getting to know them. They are hardworking individuals. And I think importantly, one point in time,
ICE agents are snatching this dude up right here. They trying to snatch this dude. MSNBC obtains video showing immigration agents raiding Chicago home, trying to pull a man from the window. Yeah, we're going to pull you from the window if we got to.
There was an ICE raid in the area about 2 weeks ago, and I asked one of the workers, are you okay? Do you want to go home? Maybe you guys should just stay indoors. And he told me, no, we actually have permission to be here.
Andrea, at risk of sounding a little bit like a yokel here, if something like this had happened in Mississippi and people who weren't supposed to be on my dad's property came in, he would pick up his firearm. What rights do residents have against unlawful entry? And I'm not advocating violence in any way, shape, or form. I'm just thinking about how risky this can be on multiple levels when in certain areas of the United States, the Castle Doctrine does apply?
You're right. It is risky, not just for the workers who were being targeted here, but also for law enforcement themselves. This is not at all how immigration enforcement should be conducted. And there's a reason why you've never seen an administration try and do it this way before. I want to remind viewers that one of the reasons you see cars suddenly pulling up in a video like this is because they have no targeted sort of enforcement priorities in place right now. They have no guardrails. And the reason why they don't have any guardrails on where and when they do enforcement is because Trump ended those. And that was a very extreme move that ends decades and really half a century of the way immigration enforcement was conducted. So,
and the way that immigration enforcement was conducted was nonsense. That's why we have so many illegals in this country right now. You guys allowed them to invade this country, and they're not used to following the law. They're used to coming over here and doing whatever they want to do. And now when ICE decides to do their job, when ICE decides to enforce these immigration policies, you cry racism, you cry discrimination.
You're right. The home is one of the most constitutionally protected zones that we have. And, you know, you have case law, it's very clear whether that is from former Justice Scalia or more recent cases that talk about even a front yard.
Look at ICE pulled up. Listen, they was out there on that ladder. ICE pulled up. They pulled up with that ladder like, oh, we going to climb up there to get you if that's what we got to do. Oh, yeah, we going to get you. Hey, princess, we coming to get you.
Gates that are locked, that there are procedures that a law enforcement officer has to follow because the Fourth Amendment requires it. So while I don't know all the facts of how ICE planned this operation or what kind of planning went into it, there are some really concerning things that we've seen on that video that suggest that they are not fully respecting both statute on how to conduct an immigration arrest or the Constitution.
I want you to hear what this ignorant woman just said. I want you to hear what she just said.
All the facts of how ICE planned this operation or what kind of planning went into it. There are some really concerning things that we've seen on that video that suggest that they are not fully respecting both statute on how to conduct an immigration arrest or the Constitution.
So ICE, they're not respecting the Constitution. They're not respecting the laws in this country. Illegal immigrants don't benefit from our Constitution. They're illegals. But she fixed her dumb. She said that ICE, they're like the ICE agents, they're not respecting the Constitution. Well, why do we need to? Why should we be nice to a bunch of illegals who broke the law in the first place? They're breaking the law just by being here illegally. We're not going to handle these people with kid gloves. Why you think Los Angeles looks the way that it looks? Because they allowed illegals to do whatever they want to do. Come over here by the millions and dump anchor babies everywhere. That's what they've been doing. And you wonder why Los Angeles and many areas look like Mexico, south of the border. We allowed these people to get away with this nonsense for too long.
Yo, I want to ask you, have you had the chance to speak to any of these men? How are they doing? Are they back at home? Have some of them needed to get medical care? What's happening to them and their families right now?
I spoke to the family of...
All right, enough of these liberal retards. I'm sick of these liberal retards, man. They're dumb. Check this out. Look, this just happened. Listen, this just happened right here, man. And this is Chicago, man. The northwest side of Chicago. Bless the like button. Moderators, drop the Cash App in the chat. Support the show with Red Supreme coming through with the game. Let's get it. Back to the content.
Federal agents clash with Northwest Side residents deploying tear gas while carrying out immigration enforcement.
WGN's Emmy Victor is on the Northwest Side with our top story. Emmy.
3 people were taken into custody during a clash between federal agents and residents. Witnesses we spoke with were shaken up over what happened. They also wanted to know why federal agents approached a landscaper who was working in the area.
Well, I actually live right there where it kind of all started.
Brian Culp says he was sitting on his couch drinking a cup of coffee when he started hearing loud noises. When he looked outside, he saw federal agents arresting someone on his front lawn.
And then I think I heard one of the whistles. I think that's what caught my attention. And then they tackled him right here, just right in my front yard.
Tear gassing all Irving Park.
This was the scene that unfolded shortly after in Chicago's Irving Park neighborhood. In this video taken near Kildare and Waveland, neighbors are confronting the agents. You can also see tear gas in the air and agents pinning people to the ground.
They ended up taking 2 other people at least into custody, including my 70-ish or so neighbor who lives in that house there. He was just coming home from a run. And they took him to the ground and then ended up taking him away.
Culp says after gathering accounts from neighbors, he believes this all got started when federal agents approached a man working on a yard nearby. The man fled the area, but the agents caught up with him 1 block away. That's when concerned neighbors started to come outside.
It's a Saturday, right? So a lot of people were home, came out to see what was going on, and then the scene just sort of unfolded from there.
Hey, do not touch her!
Culp says the crowd was ultimately met with chemical agents, which he felt was excessive.
Nobody was being violent. No one had weapons. Although I wasn't close to where they used the gas, I never heard them announce that they were going to use it or anything like that. So, yeah, it was a pretty upsetting situation for a lot of people. I mean, you can see there's kids on the block right now. There were kids out on the block when it happened.
Neighbors who didn't wish to interview on camera called the situation traumatizing. Culp says while he's shocked this happened in his quiet neighborhood, he can't say he was surprised.
As terrible as it is to see it happen, and as regretful as I am that it happened on our block and in my front neighborhood or my front yard, I am very proud of my neighbors. I'm very proud of my community for coming together and doing what we can to make clear that we are not going to tolerate this kind of behavior in our neighborhood.
Witnesses.
So illegal should they should have all the right. Listen. So are you saying that illegals should be able to come to the neighborhood and just do whatever they want to do? Being here illegally doesn't matter, right? These people sound dumb. I promise you, they sound dumb. Just let the illegals do whatever they want to do with no consequences, huh?
Say the federal agents who came here were with Border Patrol, not ICE.
Going to tolerate this kind of behavior in our neighborhood.
Witnesses say the federal agents who came here were with Border Patrol, not ICE. We reached out to the agency to learn more about the arrests made here, and we're still waiting to hear back. Reporting from the Northwest Side, Emmy Victor, WGN News.
Right now, a group of elected officials, immigration attorneys, and community leaders are speaking about what happened. Let's take a listen.
My job today is to go make the one show a little easy, and I'm going to ask Marcela Rodriguez, the executive director of Enlace Chicago and co-chair of the Illinois Latino Agenda.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here once again. Some of us came to.
I'm gonna come back to this one right here, and I'm gonna let you guys see how they're complaining about something that.
Go to sleep at night.
Now, this was a protest in New York. We're gonna go from Chicago, New York to California. Now, this was a protest in Manhattan, and I've been saying this for years. I mean, I've been saying this for the last year or two. I'm like, if I was an ICE agent, I would raid those protests. All those protests where you got these illegals waving front flags, that's the main place that they should be raiding. Every time they do a protest, you pull up and round up a gang of people. It's that simple. Check it. Then you got to, but you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Go to sleep at night.
Show your face, Howard. Show your face.
at these dumbass liberals. Do you realize that your country is being invaded and you're going to lose your job because of this? These people are idiots. Show your face. Show your face. How do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night being so stupid? How do you sleep at night being so dumb and brainless? Clueless.
Show your face! Don't push me, coward! Show your face!
They should be able to shoot tear gas at these people, because I'm not going to deal with this nonsense while I'm doing my job. There should be a law saying that if we're doing our job and you antagonize us and get in our face, you should be arrested. We should be able to shoot tear gas at you. It's that simple. You're not going to stop us from doing our damn job. You're not going to antagonize me while I'm doing my job. Shout out to Darius. I appreciate you, Darius, for blessing us with a Cash App. Shout out to Trinity for the Cash App as well. I appreciate you guys for supporting this show. Let's go. We ice out now. Man, they should have shot tear gas to make that whole crowd disperse. That's exactly what they should have did. You're not going to stop me from doing my job. You're not going to antagonize me while I'm doing my job. Look at these black people out there. Now, I know what FBA gonna say. Those are tethers. They could be tethers, so I'm not gonna deny that. But you see a few black faces out there. This is New York City, so this is New York City, so it's possible that these could be tethers, right? Because New York City is Tetherville, right? Bunch of black Caribbeans, Africans, all of that. So it's possible they might be tethers. So there's no denying that. I just love when my FBA people say, no, Rich, you got to understand, those are tethers. No, those are tethers. Man, you seen that? That was ridiculous. Now, you know, Ancun, the coon. The coon. The coon has entered the room.
Federal agents have been on the move in Chicago again today, moving from the Little Village area to the city's north side. And that's where a Laugh Factory manager was taken into custody in Lakeview. This as Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino is called into court. NBC5's Randy
And we're back to Chicago with this one. We're back to Chicago.
Gyllenhaal is live in Lakeview tonight. Hi, Randy.
A number of raids all over the north side. It seems wherever ICE and Border Patrol go, crowds tend to gather. Aldermen say tear gas was deployed in one north side neighborhood, and here outside the Laugh Factory Comedy Club, a clash between protesters and federal agents.
You're so brave, show your face!
Neighbors and passersby shout at federal agents as Border Patrol makes an arrest near Belmont and Broadway. Crowds shout at them to stop.
It was nice and peaceful. They were just yelling to tell them to stop what they're doing.
Will Collick manages a nearby store, and he shared this video. As protesters gathered, he says agents jumped out of a car and grabbed a comedy club worker who was with his mother.
For some reason, the guy who works at the Laugh Factory, they just jumped out of the car, grabbed him, started beating him up, and they pushed him and his mother over.
Didn't do anything!
Here's that moment. Federal agents and the Laugh Factory's night manager and his mom wrestle on the ground. Homeland Security said the man injured an officer by forcefully slamming a door on their leg, and the FBI is now investigating. It is yet another confrontation between agents and protesters. A federal judge today ordered Midway Blitz Commander Greg Bovino to appear in her courtroom. He's been accused of violating a previous court order after he was recorded throwing a tear gas canister in Little Village this week. DHS said he was hit by a rock in the head, and Bovino said this to Telemundo.
Illegal aliens, they're in the Little Village Cicero area, and that's what started it.
Yes.
And then it went from there to the clashes with individuals that were, they call it protesting, I call it rioting.
You can't violate a court order and get away with it if it's a good judge. He's being called into court to explain.
Meantime, about a mile from here, Northside aldermen say tear gas was deployed on Lakewood Avenue today. As for that federal court hearing, it's set for Tuesday. Bovino is required to appear in person.
Hey, this is a trip, man. Ain't it a trip?
Ve y bésale las nalgas a Trump, tu patrón, güey.
So, oh my God, no, this is Chicago, man. They making all this fuss, making all this noise about ICE enforcing it. They're making all this noise about, you know, ICE enforcing the immigration laws, enforcing these immigration policies. They're going to yell, raise hell, get out there in the middle of the street, cause all this chaos and confusion. And the moment that somebody gets arrested, they cry racism and discrimination and foul treatment. Y'all see this nonsense, man?
What's your name? You guys are so brave! What's your fucking name?
Man, they got all this energy to stand out there and do this, right? Look at all this smoke they got for the ICE agents, right? They got all this. Listen, man. They got all this energy for the wrong stuff. They are fighting to legalize border hopping in Chicago, New York, and California, and many other cities. These are the main ones.
You ain't Mexican, bro.
Oh. Put out there ringing a bell, man. Look at these Mexicans. These Mexicans, hey, man, I got to be real with you. And I got to say this to the Mexican community respectfully. You guys are some of the most entitled individuals I know. You're fighting to legalize border hopping, right? That's what you're doing. See, when we got out there to march, we fought against police brutality. You guys are fighting for the right to break the law. Mexicans are fighting for the right to break the damn law, and they're willing to act a fool if they can't have their way. See, this is what happens when you allow millions of illegals to enter your country. They get ruled. They're unruly. They're entitled. They're unruly and they're entitled. That's what happens when you give people stuff they don't deserve. You guys remember when I did the red pill content? You know how women get when you give them stuff that's anybody. It ain't just women. If you give people in general something they don't deserve, they'll never appreciate it and they'll become entitled. That's why you never give people something that they don't deserve, because this right here is the outcome when you do that. I don't care if it's a woman, a child, man, immigrant. When you give people something they don't deserve, this is the end result. This is the ending result. Entitlement, rude, obnoxious, unruly.
They are leaving now.
Now, they'll never do this in Mexico. You know why they won't do this in Mexico? Because the police out there are going to go upside your head, and there's nobody that you can call and cry racism to in Mexico. Right. There's no one to cry racism to in Mexico. The police in Mexico, they're going to go upside your head for protesting and acting the fool out there. And I think you know this. So they'll never pull this stunt in Mexico. The law is the law, and they're going to follow those laws over there. But over here, we've allowed them to get away with this for so long. Unfortunately, this is the ending result. Entitlement. Chaos in Illinois, confrontations and tensions with ICE officers, of course.
Your white children will never respect you. You'll never.
We're going to go to California next. This is Chicago. We are going to California next. They're doing the same thing in the Bay Area. They're doing the same thing in San Francisco. They're doing the same thing in Los Angeles, all up and down the state of Cali. Please believe me. But let's get back to the content, though. Bless the like button. It ain't nothing. The likes are free.
You'll never sleep again, You'll never sleep again. Your wife and children.
Look at them talking, man. They need to arrest this fool. You talking crazy to me? I'm going to sit up there and take your... Man, I wish you would talk crazy to me while I'm doing my job.
You motherfucker, fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. What are you gonna do?
He said, what are you going to do? If they snatched him up and dragged him, the first thing he's going to do is cry racism and discrimination. But he's talking all this crap. If they hopped out of the van right now and said, oh, you talking, snatch him up and put cuffs on, this is racism, this is discrimination. You just said, what are we going to do? Okay, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. What we going to do? Okay, let us show you.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You'll never sleep again, you motherfucker.
Look at him. This right here is Chicago. Now, I showed you Chicago. The last one was New York. Now we're going to move on to California. I think we got 3 more minutes left of this clip, and we're going to move on over to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. Yeah, man, we going back to Cali right after this clip.
Now you're angry. Motherfucker. Why did that bother you? Why did that bother you? You're supposed to be on our side. What the fuck?
Look. Man, I would have took this fool to jail talking crazy to me. Check it.
I'm not listening to you, do something about it. Be on our side. You're supposed to be on our side. What the fuck? It ain't worth it. He's on their side, bro. He ain't worth it. You're on their side.
See, they're mad at him because he's a Mexican, but he works for ICE. He works for law enforcement. So they say, you're a traitor. How do you sleep at night? You arrest your own people. He's like, hey, I'm not out here breaking the law. I'm just doing my job. You're a traitor. You betray your own people. Yeah, okay.
Thank you. You're on their side. Oh, everybody.
Get out of the road. That's all I'm asking is for you guys to get out.
This is Cicero, man. And to my Chicago people, I know Cicero is Mexico, man. Listen, homie, Cicero is like East Los Angeles, El Monte. You know how El Monte is right outside the Los Angeles city limits? Like you'll be in East LA and you go a couple of blocks east, and next thing you know, you're in the city of El Monte. Well, that's how Cicero is to Chicago, and Cicero is Mexico. This is a prime example.
Thank you. Thank you.
What happened?
Eddie, you good?
They tear gassed him?
Yeah. Got some tear gas. No, I'm good. Just got a little tear gas.
Like from the car? Or how?
Yes. Somebody did something and they just sprayed it out the.
While they were leaving from the car?
Basically, yeah, exactly. Basically, they're saying he's a coon. In so many words, they're telling him that he's a coon because he's a traitor to their race, because he's working for ICE. You're a traitor. How do you sleep at night? You betray your own people. That's what they're out there saying.
Yeah, from the car. They did it outside the car.
So they weren't like in, you didn't think they were in danger. They just did it?
They just did it from the car. Somebody else got too.
All right, let's go to California. I'm going back to Cali. Let's move on over to Cali, man. That's Chicago. You already know. Show some love to the show. Bless the like button and Let's get a sponsor for today's show if we can. You dig what I'm saying? Red Supreme, we gonna stay clean, but at the same time, we gets down and dirty. You heard me?
Along the Embarcadero, I'm along the Embarcadero. It's actually in Oakland at Denison. This is the entrance to get onto the Alameda Naval Station. About 15 minutes ago, 40 or so California Highway Patrol officers in riot gear have arrived. Their goal, they've been trying.
Now, this is Northern California, man. We're showing you the Bay Area, which is Northern California, and this is what's going on up there, man. Check it. You know, Alameda, that's like Oakland. Oakland is in Alameda County. Then when you go across the Bray Bridge, like I believe it's Vallejo, that's Solano County. So the Bay Area is broken up in different counties. You got Solano County, you got Alameda County. You know, it's broken up in different counties in the Bay Area. So the Bay Area ain't just one county, it's not just one city. Let's go.
To do this peacefully for the last. I'm along the Embarcadero. It's actually in Oakland at Denison. This is the entrance to get onto the Alameda Naval Station. About 15 minutes ago, 40 or so California Highway Patrol officers in riot gear have arrived. Their goal, they've been trying to do this peacefully for the last 45 minutes or so, is to clear the intersection because they say there are civilians who need to come off of the base, and these folks are blocking the only way on and off to the base if you're driving a vehicle. So the Highway Patrol is here. They've got 40 officers in riot gear right here. There's another 10 on Denison over there, and then an additional 20 or so, 30 maybe, officers in regular uniforms also nearby. And so we think that probably what's going to happen here is they're going to try to clear the intersection. They're getting a lot of pushback from these protesters who have been blocking this road since early this morning. They are here, of course, because they are upset that ICE officers have been sent to the island. About 100 or so, we believe, arrived yesterday and this morning, and they are upset about that, and they do not want to clear the intersection. And we're going to see what happens here in the next 20 minutes. Protesters out of the intersection very slowly, and we've got a little disturbance there, as you can see. These protesters don't want to give up this intersection, but the Highway Patrol has ramped it up here in the last 20 minutes or so and is now looking to clear these folks out of the area. Not quite sure what happened there. It looks like they've got one man down on the ground. Looks like they're detaining him, cuffing him. And we'll have to take a look here at the rest of the protest.
And Charles, we're watching these live pictures. Charles, we're watching these live pictures with you, and we can see that person there on the ground. And in that line of protesters, there's also several members of the media. We see some of them with their larger cameras. You did mention that a lot of the people have their cell phones out documenting what is happening. Can you also describe a little bit more of the pushback that you have seen from these protesters today?
So they've been very vocal. There's a lot of curse words and insults being thrown at the Coast Guard security here. And now that attention is being focused on the Highway Patrol as they move in to try to clear out the intersection. Let's see how over here, the main entrance to the base is a little bit to the right of the image you're seeing here. This is the main intersection of Embarcadero and Denison. And there are quite a bit of media here, media from all over the state. I've seen media from Monterey, Sacramento. Our affiliate News Nation is here as well. Most of the media here has security guards with them. There was an incident earlier today.
All right, let's go to the next one. Now, that's what's going on right there on the roadway. Like, that's...
Breaking news right now at 11. Federal agents arrive in the Bay Area this morning, but were met with force from protesters outside of Coast Guard Island.
All I know is that I was yelling for several seconds and he didn't back up, and so...
We are live there with the latest developments on possible major immigration operations and the reason the president says he has called things off. Thanks for joining us for our midday newscast. I'm Marcus Washington.
And I'm Laura Garcia. Let's get right to Alameda Island. Protesters have been blocking the roadways. At times it has been tense, but mostly has remained peaceful this morning. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie as well says he spoke to President Trump by phone, and the operation of sending federal agents in has been called off. President Trump later posting on Truth Social saying, I told him I think he's making a mistake because we can do it much faster and remove the criminals that the law does not permit him to remove. Ginger Conejero-Saab is following that part of the story. She'll join us with a report in just a moment. But first,
Bob Redell joining us live. So Bob, walk us through what's happening now.
We are at the intersection that leads up to Coast Guard Island, Alameda, and you can see the protesters. They've got vehicles on each entrance. There's 3 entrances to the intersection blocking it so that the federal agents cannot get in here. There's about 100 people out here now, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, they're trying to block the street so that the federal agents can't get up in there. That's crazy.
They've definitely
there should be a law like if you stop us from doing our job, you go to jail. There's no consequences for this. If they created a law to where if you block the road and you stop ICE from doing their job, you go to jail. I bet money you wouldn't see them doing this stupid stuff.
First since this morning. They've been blocking this intersection since around 7 this morning. You can see the Coast Guard security services. That's on the road that leads to the bridge, the island. They are keeping the people at bay, and the people have respected that boundary. They haven't tried to actually.
That's what's going on right there, man. So I got another clip, man, for you guys that I want you guys to check out. Hold on. I was going to react to some of these right here, man. This is crazy.
Crackdown was set to start today. President Trump, though, called off the deployment of federal immigration agents just as protesters were gathering outside the Coast Guard base in Alameda, where those agents were to be posted. Trump was on social media saying that he halted the operation at the request of friends in the Bay Area, including the CEO of Salesforce, Mark Benioff. He said that they vouched for San Francisco's Mayor Daniel Lurie and convinced him to stand down on federal action. Protesters, though, are still rallying outside the Coast Guard base in Alameda. Action News 8 reporter Felix Cortez is live there now. Felix?
Well, Dan, what started off as several hundred protesters protesting outside the Coast Guard station over here in Alameda has now really dwindled down to just several dozen. And it is in large part because of President Trump's plans to scale back on his plans to deploy dozens of Customs and Border Patrol agents around the city. But when we arrived earlier this morning around 10:30, some protesters could be seen leaving the area. But at several times while we were here, the Coast Guard who were blocking the entrance did come face to face with protesters who got really just too close for their comfort. However, protesters were met with force earlier in the morning. As many as 3 flashbangs were set off, and one protester, as you mentioned, had her foot run over, allegedly by an ICE vehicle.
That's because you're in the way. You know that these people be trying to block the ICE agents, so I don't feel sorry for you if you get your foot ran over. You should have sat your ass back. Stop trying to stop these people from doing their job.
Here's what some protesters were earlier today.
You know, we're all out here today because we want to protect our neighbors. We want to protect our friends and families. We want to uphold the Constitution and make sure that people are afforded due process.
Since I've been here, it's been peaceful. We all just love our community and we don't want ICE present.
This is just be open-minded, come here. Maybe somebody's going to educate me. Maybe I can help educate somebody else. Or if nothing else, walk away realizing that not all people on one side or the other are all bad people and can't group everybody together.
Now, late in the afternoon, the protesters turned their attention to dozens of CHP officers who showed.
All right, now that's what you get right there. Let's go to the next clip. I should have queued these videos up. I'm gonna queue these videos up so I don't have to keep doing all this. Check this out.
Breaking news: the chaotic scene unfolding here in New York City. Federal authorities, including ICE agents, conducting a crackdown late today, sweeping through the well-known area of Canal Street in Lower Manhattan. The chaos erupting, traffic halted. Multiple people have been detained at this hour. The raid part of an operation targeting illegal street vendors. Many are believed to be migrants living in New York City.
Yeah, that's what they be doing. Let's go back to New York now. In New York, they've been going at those illegal food vendors. Now, imagine if they went the illegal food vendors in Los Angeles, it would be a ghost town if they went after those food vendors in LA. I promise you, because you got food vendors on street corners everywhere in Los Angeles.
The area known as a draw for tourists, bargain shoppers, many looking for designer knockoffs. This operation comes amid the increasing federal from New York to Chicago to Los Angeles. And it comes just hours after 2 people were shot during an operation in Los Angeles, including a U.S. Marshal. So what led to that incident? But first, the scene in New York City late today, and ABC's Matt Rivers leads us off from Lower Manhattan tonight.
Tonight, an immigration crackdown in New York City as federal agents descended on Canal Street, famous for its bargain shopping and knockoff designer goods and parts of Chinatown. The raid, part of an operation targeting illegal street vending. The scene turning chaotic as agents made arrests and pushed back the crowd.
And it's gotten a little hairy at points with people running, people falling down in the street, and federal agents running after them.
The traffic coming to a standstill at the start of rush hour, with cars trapped between law enforcement officers.
The people selling those knockoff goods are often migrants, which means that federal investigations here often include a component of immigration enforcement.
It comes amid heavy federal presence in cities across the country, from New York to Chicago to Los Angeles, where today Homeland Security officials say a U.S. Marshal and a suspected undocumented immigrant with a criminal record were both shot and wounded during a targeted traffic stop.
This is 20th and Trinity. Looks like they wedged the vehicle.
Now, this happened in L.A., man. You know, I think I'm going to do a whole stream about that. But yeah, this happened in L.A., man. An ICE agent and an immigrant got shot. Then I know you guys heard about that TikToker that got shot in that ICE raid in LA too? I'm gonna play that clip after this.
Shots were fired. We see the windows were blown out.
DHS officials say agents used a standard pit maneuver to detain the suspect who had escaped custody in the past. They say this time, when the man rammed a federal vehicle trying to evade arrest, officers opened fire, hitting him in the elbow. A bullet ricocheting into the hand of the U.S. Marshal. Both men were hospitalized. Our Matt Gutman right there on the scene.
I just want to give you a sense of where we are. Just down the street, that black vehicle, that's an FBI vehicle. Beyond it is where the incident happened. But right here, that's a church.
Yeah, this is LA right here, man. This happened in LA.
And on the other side of these LAPD vehicles, right across the street, that's a school.
The suspect, a TikToker known as Richard LA18, is an influencer known for capturing video of these ICE operations in LA, even recognized by the city of LA for his contributions to the community. Last week, this dramatic Border Patrol chase of a suspect through a Chicago neighborhood ended with a pit maneuver, the operation sparking anti-ICE clashes between protesters and federal agents. A federal judge in Chicago concerned about aggressive tactics, restricting the use of tear gas and ordering agents.
You see, they hit the ICE agent. Look, they just hit the ICE agent. Look.
A federal judge in Chicago concerned about aggressive tactics, restricting the use of tear gas and ordering.
The Mexicans threw an egg at that dude. Look, the egg hit him in the head like, bye, y'all. It was just an egg, but still, though.
Hood ended with a pit maneuver, the operation sparking anti-ICE clashes between protesters and federal agents. A federal judge in Chicago concerned about aggressive tactics, restricting the use of tear gas and ordering agents to wear body cameras.
Oh man, he did that. He hit that fool in the head with that egg, man. I gotta see it one more time, man.
Hood ended with a pit maneuver, the operation sparking anti-ICE clashes between protesters and federal agents. A federal judge in Chicago concerned about aggressive tactics, restricting the use of tear gas and ordering agents to wear body cameras.
And David, back here on Canal Street, those street vendors who would usually be out here selling their goods largely clearing out tonight as a result of that raid. The mayor's office saying no city officials were involved in the operation. David?
Matt Rivers leading us off here tonight. Matt.
Hit the like button. I think I'm going to say
We have just walked from Canal Street to the ICE headquarters here in Foley Square.
there was a spontaneous protest that erupted with New Yorkers after they saw ICE rounding up people on Canal Street this afternoon, and they tried to prevent those arrests from happening, following those very heavily armed officers right here to the federal building. And this is what you have seen now, the NYPD blocking off the entrance to the federal building after they took everyone inside just minutes ago. There were several scuffles that broke out with protesters and federal agents. Murad Awadwa is part of the New York Immigration Coalition. And what have you witnessed here today?
What we've seen is that the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, HSI, ERO, and other federal law enforcement agents have been targeting street vendors who are simply trying to make a living in our city and arresting them today. They started from Church and made their way down to Lafayette on Canal Street. And ordinary New Yorkers stood up to fight back against what we're seeing happen in our streets here in New York City, which is just completely and utterly horrifying, to be honest with you.
Would you say this is a new level of enforcement that we have seen in New York, or is this business as usual? We don't typically see it in front of cameras.
Have you ever seen 50 to 100 federal agents mobbing a street and beating up people on the street? Because that's exactly what just happened. They were beating up U.S. citizens, and this is what we're seeing unfold in real time. This is supposed to be a democracy. We're supposed to be a nation of rule and law, and what we're ending up seeing is
You said this is a nation of rule and law. Okay, if you understand that, then why do you have a problem with ICE agents? Why do you have a problem with ICE agents enforcing the law if it's all about law? And I want y'all to hear what this fool said. He's an idiot.
Exactly what just happened. They were beating up U.S. citizens, and this is what we're seeing unfold in real time. This is supposed to be a democracy. We're supposed to be a nation of rule and law. And what we're ending up seeing is fascist tactics and authoritarian tactics being used in
fascist tactics, right? But you said you're all about this country being about rule and law. Okay, if it's about rule and law, then you should have no problem with ICE agents enforcing the law by telling people if you're here illegally, you got to go. You can't sell food on the street corner because you guys are not paying taxes. You're here illegally and you're just breaking the damn law. You do know that those street vendors don't pay taxes, right? That's tax-free money. What did I tell you? You guys remember in LA, man? Do you guys remember in LA when them immigrants was getting all that money and they was giving them a lot of food stamps? You know what they did with them food stamps? They went to the grocery store, bought the food with food stamps, and sold it on the street corners, tax-free money. Tax-free money. The government giving you food stamps. You go to the grocery store, buy a gang of groceries, get your little basket, your little shopping cart, and you sell that food on the street corner. Tax-free money. These people are pimping the system. They've been pimping the system for way too long and getting away with it.
cities like New York right now.
Kind of paint a picture for me, for people who couldn't see this, about folks just kind of joining in and following these ICE agents in their vehicles, to the fact that they had to get an armored vehicle out here and have canisters of tear gas at the ready in case this really kind of spiraled out of control. The spontaneous protest. Talk about that.
The spontaneous protest occurred because ordinary New Yorkers see other New Yorkers being hurt and vilified by these individuals. Of course, anyone who sees someone being wrongfully targeted is going to take some form of action. And to see
wrongfully targeted, if you're here illegally, you're not being wrongfully targeted. No, you're not.
Military vehicles driving down the streets of New York City. We don't need boots on the ground. We need the federal government to actually invest in the supports that New Yorkers need, which includes reopening the government, reinvesting the resources that they're making this mockery and this theatrical show here into the services that make people's lives better.
So you told me earlier that about 40 people were arrested. Is that still the number that you believe? Are those all street vendors?
We're still trying to confirm the amount of people, but the early estimates from different sources, which we're trying to rectify right now and get the actual number, is still up in the air, but we're trying to figure out what the amount is.
All right, and what is the recourse for the people who are in there now? What will your organization do?
Well, we're trying to figure out who they are first, and which is why we went to see what was happening, and then being able to actually provide any supports that we can for them and their families in this time, which we're seeing family separation happen in real time.
All right, Murad, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, this is the end point of this spontaneous protest after hours of ICE enforcement that was happening a few blocks away on Canal Street. Again, they were appearing to target West African vendors who sell the counterfeit merchandise on Canal Street that the NYPD has been cracking down on for the past year. They arrest people at the local level, but it appears now that ICE and Homeland Security taking immigration action against those West African immigrants who are here trying to get citizenship and then selling those counterfeit merchandise on one of the most famous streets in the city. So right now we're waiting to get a comment from ICE about what exactly unfolded here, how this spiraled out of control that ultimately led to armored cars and boots on the ground here downtown tonight, and the arrests of protesters happening as well. That is the latest live here.
This is crazy, man. And listen, man, these people are so entitled that it's ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. Shout out to Afro Nat for the 20. I appreciate you, Afro Nat. Darius blessed us with a 12. Trinity blessed us with a 20 as well. Shout out to Jamar P for blessing us with a 10. You dig? Shout out to everybody for sliding on through with that major love and support, man. I appreciate you guys.
Here in Lower Manhattan, I'm Anthony.
So this is what we gonna do. They're not citizens, man. They're not citizens. Knock it off. Huh? What's going on? What's going on? Tell me what is going on. You know? Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let me fix something real quick. Shout out to Frank. Shout out to everybody, man. I see a lot of my people coming on over to King Supreme. So come on over to King Supreme, man, where we do our thing, man. And we spit a whole lot of game over here, man. And we make things happen. We're gonna get it cracking. Are you ready for that action? Let's get back to these ICE raids, man. Hold on. ICE raids. What's going on? What's going on? Shit, you see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You see it. Hold on 1 second, man. We got to get back to the content in a major way. You see what's going on with these ICE raids, man. They want us to feel bad because they're African. Illegal is illegal. Yeah. I mean, they was going after West Africans, Chinese, Mexicans. Man, they was going after everybody, man. You know what I mean? You could get it. They was coming after you. You know, no exception to the rule, man. Yeah. Listen, man. ICE in Chicago was arresting these rideshare workers too, man. So the rideshare workers got it as well. Oh yeah, they got it. Ain't playing with them. Ain't playing with them. You can get it too. For you, and you. You know? Let's get to this next clip right here, man. Shout out to everybody, man. You're going to see the illegals throw a temper tantrum, right? Check this out. Check this out, family.
The latest now on that chaotic scene that played out on Canal Street in Manhattan when ICE agents suddenly moved in for a raid targeting street vendors and quickly turned violent. Lots of pushing and shoving that eventually led to protest. Eyewitness News reporter Joe Torres live in Chinatown where it all went down. Joe?
Sandra, the hub of illegal commerce that normally fills the sidewalks here on Canal Street, currently on hiatus after that confrontational crackdown by federal agents yesterday here in Chinatown. In fact, just a few minutes ago, the acting ICE director, during an interview on television, said agents made 9 arrests of what he calls criminal aliens with long rap sheets. On Canal Street this Wednesday morning, an unusual sense of peace and tranquility. Empty sidewalks, free of the illegal street vendors hawking designer label purses and luxury watches. And if that was the mission of federal agents Tuesday afternoon, to clear the...
They out there selling that fake Louis Vuitton and that fake Gucci. Selling that fake merchandise. Yeah.
The scene of vendors who often hail from West Africa. Mission accomplished. These siblings are from Texas, and it's not their first visit to Chinatown.
I was like, whoa. Yeah. You usually see them all packed full everywhere on the streets, but today it was like pretty quiet.
There's not really much people out here no more, as in like the sellers and everything. Yeah.
Pretty quiet.
It is.
It was a chaotic scene in Chinatown yesterday when a swarm of masked immigration officers, ATF and Homeland Security agents and other federal law enforcement all pushed, pulled, and detained the vendors who are a fixture on the sidewalks of Canal Street. The show of force quickly generated a rather vocal response from ICE protesters, who immediately started recording video and taking pictures at work. Pushing and shoving soon followed. In a statement, a Homeland Security spokesperson said the agents conducted a targeted, intelligence-driven enforcement operation on Canal Street in New York City, focused on criminal activity relating to selling counterfeit goods. Jason Jackson, an elevator repairman who works in the area, said he wouldn't be surprised if social media videos taken by ICE supporters led federal agents to target this part of Manhattan.
I definitely think that's how it went.
Why so?
Because this has been going on for a long time now, and just out of nowhere, they want to crack down on it.
It's definitely intelligence-driven. It's not random. We're just not pulling people off the street. There was a specific reason based on criminal intelligence and criminal activity that we showed up on Canal Street.
And that there, Todd Lyons, the acting ICE director, who went on to say that New Yorkers should anticipate an increase in ICE arrests in the weeks and months that lie ahead. Because why? He said so many criminal illegal migrants are in the 5 boroughs. Mayor Eric Adams, in an effort to distance himself and the city from what happened yesterday, in a statement said in part, New Yorkers should know that we have no involvement. An ICE protest scheduled for later today, 6 o'clock, Foley Square. We'll be there live in Chinatown. I'm Joe Torres, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
That's straight chaos right there. Let's go to Florida real quick, man. You got a guy that threw a rock at an ICE agent. Now he's going to suffer the consequences, unfortunately. Check it out. My bad. Wrong video. New video. Like Dub said, new video.
Covering the Treasure Coast, where this man is behind bars tonight, accused of smashing the back of an ICE vehicle and running off. This comes as reports of immigration agents seen on the Treasure Coast are on the rise.
Caleb Califano spoke with the Port St. Lucie police chief on what we know so far about this arrest.
It was just a few days ago here at this Wawa in Tradition where a man was arrested after throwing a rock through an ICE vehicle after his father was taken into custody. Today we're seeing new body camera video and reaction from people here in the community. Port St. Lucie police say the incident unfolded quickly outside a Tradition Wawa and ended with this video, which shows Pascal Velasquez Martin being escorted into a police cruiser after running away from the initial scene where he threw the rock at the ICE vehicle.
He fled that scene. He was quickly located by the same federal agents, and we were
called to the scene, and we ended up making that arrest.
Port St. Lucie Police Chief Leo Nimzik tells us they commonly respond to incidents when requested by other agencies, including federal immigration enforcement. When asked about programs like 287G, which allows state and local law enforcement to arrest people in the country illegally, the chief says they have systems in place.
We have memorandums of understanding with multiple federal agencies, to include the FBI, the DEA, Marshal Service, and this is really no different than that. And as the chief of police, I have full control over where my officers participate or don't participate, and I'm really not expecting any large change in our operation as a result of that agreement.
This recent incident is just one of many ICE arrests we are now seeing happening on the Treasure Coast this week. Happening here at the Wawa in Tradition, locals with
Hey man, every time I'm in Florida, man, I go to that Wawa. That's a popular gas station in Florida, man. But shout out to the Wawa.
we talked to tell us they aren't surprised. So you've seen a rise of immigration enforcement here?
Definitely. The guy made a mistake. He got angry, took it out the wrong way, and that's what happened. As far as I could see, the guy wasn't happy. His father was getting taken away or whatever, and sign of the times.
Martin is facing a second-degree felony for throwing that rock through the ICE vehicle. His bond was set at $25,000. In Tradition, Caleb Calfano, WPBF 25 News.
You know what I'm saying? At that Wawa, man. Cold. That's cold right there, man. Shout out to everybody that's rocking. This is what we're gonna do, man. How long we been on right now? Let me see. We've been on for 1 hour and 16 minutes. Let me check this real quick, man. I got another clip, man. Let's get to another clip. I got a few of them, man. You know, hey. Let's get it. You already know we with it. Let's get it.
Dozens of people took over a stretch of Lake Street in Addison where earlier federal agents were confronted by people in this parking lot after one of those agents broke a vehicle window before detaining the people inside. Protesters in Addison lining a block where federal agents were seen earlier Sunday, detaining at least 2 people outside a La Huerta grocery store. A grocery store employee in disbelief capturing this video as federal agents broke the window of a vehicle. Those agents taking the driver and 2 others in the vehicle into custody.
Hey, listen, man, if you don't open that door, we're going to bust the window and drag you up out of this car. And that's exactly what they did.
We blurred their faces as we don't know if they're facing charges.
There were about 4 vehicles, maybe 5 ICE vehicles that were in the parking lot.
Maria Sincule joining with others confronting agents over why they were detaining these individuals.
They didn't have a judicial warrant, no emergency, expedited removal order. They didn't have any of that.
The driver of the vehicle was released after agents checked and confirmed her immigration status, but this community was left shaken.
Oh my God, this is so sad.
Maria later returning here with dozens of others who stood outside the grocery store to show their agents confirmed her immigration status, but this community was left shaken.
Oh my God, this is so sad.
Maria later returning here with dozens of others who stood outside the grocery store to show their support for La Huerta and to share their frustration over Operation Midway Blitz.
This really impacts my community. People are too scared to come.
This is Chicago right here, man. This is Chicago. You see all the Mexican flags out there. It's like, man, if you're so proud of your country, what are you doing here? Just go back over there.
Support for La Huerta and to share their frustration over Operation Midway Blitz.
This really impacts my community. People are too scared to come to the store. My students are too scared to go to school.
There's people I love and care about that are impacted by this. I'm using my privilege of being a U.S. born citizen, first generation American, to be out here and fight for my people.
She's an anchor baby, man. A first generation American. That means your parents came here illegally, because I'm pretty sure they didn't do it the right way. They came here illegally and had you as an anchor baby. Technically, you're not even a real citizen. Our parents didn't come here illegally to have us for birthright citizenship. The problem with this situation is you got a lot of these first and second generation immigrants, illegal immigrants. You know, they come here and they're just so entitled. Your parents came here illegally to give birth to you in this country for the sole purpose of birthright citizenship. This is why you have all these problems. Listen, the majority of these protesters are anchor babies. You might have some immigrants out there because a lot of immigrants are too afraid to go out there. So these are the children of the illegal immigrants, better known as anchor babies. These are the main people out there protesting, causing hell, raising hell, I mean.
Alison Galvan now helping to mobilize and educate her community as a means of providing hope.
We need to be educated, we need to support each other, and that's how we're going to be able to get through this. There is always hope, and there is always information. That's how we're going to get through this.
Addison's mayor saying in part in a statement, though our ability to intervene in federal matters is limited, I remain committed to ensuring that our village continues to be a respectful and welcoming place for all. We reached out to the Department of Homeland Security, but have yet to receive a response.
Ten rules of losing American citizenship. Hassan Campbell. I heard about that.
A teenage boy has been detained by ICE after showing up for a scheduled immigration appointment. Alicia Reed reports his mother self-deported last month, but believed that her son's status would have kept him safe.
This is all my fault.
A frantic mother worried about the well-being of her 16-year-old son nearly 3,000 miles away. Joel Camus showed up to a scheduled immigration check-in at 26 Federal Plaza bright and early Thursday morning.
We were going to do this ICE check-in. It was going to be quick. Maybe he wouldn't even be late for school that starts at 8.
Instead, he was detained and sent to a facility where minors are being held. He and his mother, Elvia Chafla, are undocumented. In September, she flew back to their Ecuadorian hometown instead of facing arrest. She thought Joel would be fine because of his special immigrant juvenile status.
It is a status available to young people who are under 21, unmarried, have been found to have been abused, abandoned, or neglected by parent or parents.
The family's lawyer says a family court judge found that it was in Joel's best interest to remain in the U.S. He's a junior at Gotham Collaborative High School and lives with family in the Bronx. His mother says he had a very difficult life in Ecuador, and she brought him to New York seeking asylum.
What is going to happen to him? What is going to happen to my son? Right now, there's a lot of violence here, and I don't want him to come back to that. Right now, I have no work.
The Department of Homeland Security says in February 2024, during the Biden administration, the teen and his mother were given final orders to leave. In a statement saying in part, his mother self-deported to Ecuador and Camus remained in the USA alone as a minor. Fortunately, now Mr. Camus will be reunited with family. The family's lawyer says the rules for migrants are in constant flux with the current Trump administration, and if the teen is deported, his pathway to lawful permanent residence will be terminated.
And every day is just, there's another terrifying thing that's happening. It's also just the changes in law every few minutes, every few seconds, different cases coming out.
The Civil Liberties Union and the organization representing Joel filed a habeas petition on his behalf. They're seeking his release and a stop on the removal order so he can remain in school, continue on his path. In the Castle Hill section of the Bronx, Alicia Reed, CBS News, New York.
Memphis has self-deported to Mexico after ICE agent did the store where he worked. Victor Terran's decision reflects a growing but unknown number of self-deportations happening in the United States, an uptick that began following increased immigration enforcement under the Trump administration. Action News 5's Caitlin Miller introduces you to Victor and explains his story.
It's not going to happen to me. It's not. I'm going to be okay. Little did I know, here I am.
It's not going to happen to me. That was Victor Terran's thought process when he walked into In-N-Out Wireless on August 19th, the cell phone store where he'd been working for 5 years. Everything was business as usual until he spotted 3 officers outside on the security camera. Moments later, armed agents stormed in.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if to go out. I didn't know if to stay there. I didn't know if to hide in the roof or something. I don't know. I was making a whole novel in my
Ultimately, Victor cooperated with police and was honest about his citizenship status when asked for ID. He says he was then given two options: go before a judge, a process that could take months and possibly result in a 10-year ban from the U.S., or self-deport immediately, which might allow for a legal return in the future.
You either self-deport and sign right now. This will only take a process of maybe a week or at most for you. This is going to allow you to then apply for a visa, a working visa.
Victor says he didn't choose how he entered the country, but instead came here with his mother when he was 11 years old.
I couldn't begin to realize what was going on. I knew I was going somewhere else, but I know how impactful on my life would be.
As he looks forward to when he can return to the U.S. legally, Victor leaves a message to those hearing stories like his.
Well, nobody in there is a criminal. The only criminal thing that they did was hope and wished for a better life.
Hold on, let's hear what he said again. So he decided to self-deport to Mexico because they said if you don't self-deport to Mexico, you'll be banned from America for 10 years. So either self-deport or deal with the severe consequences of being banned from this country for 10 years. See what he had to say again.
Realize what was going on. I knew I was going somewhere else, but I know how impactful on my life would be.
As he looks forward to when he can return to the U.S. legally, Victor leaves a message for those hearing stories like his.
Well, nobody in there is a criminal. The only criminal thing that they did was hope and wished for a better life.
In Memphis, Caitlin Miller, Action News 5.
Nationwide, deportations reportedly have increased following the passage of the Trump administration's so-called One Big Beautiful Bill. The bill includes $4.1 billion to expand the immigration workforce and $46.5 billion for border infrastructure, including the wall.
Build the wall, build the wall. You know what it do.
Our top story tonight, Huntington Park strawberry vendor arrested by ICE is speaking out. He spent weeks behind bars after a high-profile ICE raid in Little Tokyo.
We have a team of journalists on TV and behind the scenes dedicated to covering immigration stories, including our Lori Perez, who spoke to the man and his family tonight. Lori?
Well, Angel Minguela Palacios is home tonight. The question is for how long. He has retained an attorney who is going to help him to try and fight a deportation order, but it is by no means a sure thing. This was the moment Angel Minguela Palacios stepped off a bus and into the arms of his family.
Estoy contento de haber regresado aquí con mi familia.
He says he is overjoyed to be back with them after spending 2 months in custody, most of it at an ICE detention center in Arizona.
No hay camas. No hay camas.
¿En el piso?
En pleno piso de cemento, o sea, ni siquiera es piso de madera, no, es piso de cemento.
Where he said there are no beds and they slept on a plain concrete floor, what he describes as
Son condiciones de una prisión. Allá es una prisión.
a prison with lights on 24 hours a day and minimal food. Conditions so bleak, he says when men were asked if they wanted to self-deport, many said yes. Minguela ended up there after getting detained by Border Patrol on August 14th. On his last stop of the day, delivering fruit in Little Tokyo, he got swept up by the mass of agents that had taken over the streets outside a press conference hosted by Governor Newsom.
That's LA. You know, LA, we got Chinatown, Koreatown, Little Tokyo, which is Little Japan. You got Little Cambodia and Long Beach. You got the you got an area for the Filipinos. So we got different Asian communities, man. It ain't just Chinatown in LA. There's different Asian communities, man. Little Tokyo, they got some good food in Little Tokyo. You know, I go over there from time to time, but for the most part, I try to spend my money with our people. Let's get it.
Show of force that made national headlines. This was the text he sent to his partner saying, "My love, immigration caught me. Don't worry. Everything is going to be okay. God is going to help us a lot." Tonight, he's thanking God and his community. The 48-year-old came here 10 years ago on a tourist visa and says he has no criminal record here or in Mexico. When a judge granted him a $1,500 bond, his employer paid it. In a statement, DHS tells us he was arrested for breaking our country's laws by overstaying his visa.
I cried so hard, it was just so bad because when my mom told me the news, I can't even explain how I was.
Minguela's oldest daughter, who didn't want to share her identity, says for her mother and her two younger brothers, the youngest with autism, being without their dad was overwhelming. They don't want to think about the possibility his attorney might not get the deportation order canceled. As he sits with an ankle monitor and a court date Monday, Minguela is again putting his fate in the hands of God, grateful to be home for now.
He's still just very happy just very happy because he has his family here.
And Minguela and his attorney will be in court tomorrow. Again, that will be the next step in fighting to get him to stay here and stay at home. DHS, meanwhile, is still offering to help him self-deport.
Well, they're gonna help him to self-deport, man. Anybody want to come up, man? Let me know if anybody wants to come up, man. So hold on 1 second. If you want to come up, you got something to say, you want to add to the conversation, I will be dropping a link, and you are welcome to pull up to speak if that's what you want. So you want to pull up to add something to the conversation, the time is now. We're talking about illegal immigration, the whole situation, these protests, these raids. It is what it is, man. So I'll take a few people, man, maybe like 2, 3 at the most. But if you got something to say, the time is now. He overstayed his visa, man. You overstayed the visa. They crying, man. Let me bring up Big E. You got it, brother.
Yo, what it do, Red? What it do, chat? What's crazy to me, Red, is that for the last 4 years, Democrats have been letting these people come into our neighborhoods, right? And now that Trump is enforcing the immigration laws, they are actually blaming him for the problem. No, the problem was you let them over here in the first place. I don't understand why they protesting so tough now when they let them people. You remember when they sent some of them illegals up there to Martha's Vineyard? Red, how long did they stay up in Martha's Vineyard before the National Guard came rolling up in there and got them all?
Yeah, they got them out of there fast.
What I'm talking about, quick, but nobody said nothing when they went amongst them rich people. Now, see, once again, I don't understand reality. The Democrats want health care for illegals, and now they want to blame the Republicans for the shutdown. But it's like, why are y'all acting like these Democrats are not rich? Like they are multimillionaires. They don't care. They've been showed you that they didn't care about you, but as long as they could point their finger at the Republicans, said, I'm not giving you no money for no illegals. Okay, when have they done this for your black behind? When have the party that you go all out on a limb for, when have they ever fought for you like this? Ever. They shut down the government trying to get illegals health care. But if you get $5 more in food stamps, they looking to prosecute you. I'm trying to figure out what is the Negro logic when it comes to politics. Why are you out there? I mean, I get the tethers, but let's just say if you're not a tether, right, what exactly is your purpose for being out there?
Right.
They have never fought for you like this. They have never gave you free EBT cards. They have never gave you free housing like that. They've never gave you none of the benefits that you see that they are giving them. And yet y'all still advocate for them like they are your friends. And then when you ask people, well, what are they doing? Why are you voting? Well, what has Trump done? Okay, I'm gonna answer that. What I do know, he ain't finna give it to them. He's not finna just slap me in my face with it. That's what I do know. Okay, these people that y'all are voting for, you remember you 92%? You're watching them go out on a limb. They are literally putting, look, really look at this, Red. These people are out here really committing career suicide. Because as soon as they open that government back, court subpoenas is probably finna be handed out. You get what I'm saying? That's the only thing they doing. They're holding the government hostage because they know that, you see what's happening to Letitia James. You see what's going on with Fannie Willis. She been ducking federal subpoenas for the last 3-4 years. Now you see what they doing. But yet y'all still stand by these people like they have always been your friend and they have never done nothing for you. And what's crazy is they still ain't talking about doing nothing for you. They know that they need to get you back because Trump is getting rid of their illegal voter base. So they have to come back to you. But you see, they still not even coming back to you with that checkbook open. They're not even saying, well, you know what? We'll do for y'all what we was doing for them illegals. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to do that. Even though they blocked your reparations in California, especially, and you know that to be true, Red, even though they going all the way out, they're going out the country for these people and they know that they're criminals, right? They're providing them with illegal CDLs, right? They're giving them illegal social security numbers. They're giving them fake IDs. They had a whole criminal enterprise set up with these illegals that they would no way in hell put themselves out on the line for your black behind. And y'all know it. This was career suicide that they literally just committed for some illegals. And you mean to tell me the only thing you could say is Orange Man bad? Y'all are not insulted at what's going on? Y'all don't feel no kind of way about this? Y'all don't feel no kind of way that there's people out there advocating to break federal laws? You know, as soon as you get over here illegally, you are absconding from the law. Don't nobody want to hear that hard working nothing. You just broke a federal law. Okay, and the longer that you stay over here avoiding the law, you are absconding. But see, the problem was, Red, Trump wasn't never supposed to get back in office, so all them Democrats, they couldn't keep them promises now. You get what I'm saying? That's why they trying their best to just keep it held up in court, but they don't supersede the federal government. That's why it's the top branch of the government. And they still handling you with kid gloves. You still haven't seen the worst of the federal government. You get what I'm saying? So let's be real. When has your party ever fought for you in the way that they're fighting for cartels, illegals? I mean, again, you didn't have to be from here. Just really look at it with the Indian people. They knew how to come to the United States. They knew where to go or know where to go to get housing. They even know where to go get an illegal CDL. Red, you just saw the accident on the 10 the other day. Dude was all gas, no brakes in that truck.
Yeah, man, I saw
on
it.
the 10. On the 10, Red. The 10 is one of the most traffic-ridden freeways because it's an interstate freeway. That fool did not slow that truck down, ended up killing that brother and his wife. That dude did major damage. But guess what? When you black and you apply for the CDL, no, you better be able to pass every part of it. Your truck better be up to par, etc., etc. They knew who to go get an illegal CDL without even have never gotten behind the wheel of a truck before. And he knew where to go get a CDL from. Wasn't no Republicans doing that? Didn't no Republicans do that? You know what I'm saying? That was literally all a Democratic money laundering machine right there. You know what I'm saying? Look at all them shell companies. Oh, we sending $4 billion to a transgender circus in Iran. Oh, we sending another $3 billion for a study on transgender puppies in the Ukraine, in Uganda. These ain't nothing but money laundering. They were taking your money, and what they wasn't putting in their pockets, they was giving to the illegals. Whether it was healthcare, right? Whether it was dental, right? They was getting free schooling, right? We know that. We know all of this to be fact. How were they paying for this? Off whose dime? You get what I'm saying? So they got a whole criminal network set up for everybody to come to this country and get in on it, except for your black butt. Tell me, what is your allegiance to these people? What kind of spell do they have on you that all they got to do is say orange man bad and you all don't have to do nothing for you, because you can't say no time that the Democrats ever did anything for you.
Yeah.
I mean, like ever. You never got nothing. You got everything you got out the mud. Your parents got it out the mud. Your grandparents got it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? So at what time, at what point did they do anything like this for you? And you got nerve to be sitting up talking about people who didn't vote for them like we the ones tripping? Yeah, okay. So I would really like to know that. And I mean, don't give me no question with a question. You know what I'm saying? But y'all not slick. For the last 4 years, them tards created all these problems that we see going on today. But now you got the nerve today to point at the next administration for merely enforcing federal laws, for merely enforcing laws that were on the books. And when you ask, well, wait a minute, where was all the outrage when other presidents did the exact? Donald Trump is not doing nothing no different than any other president. You get what I'm saying? Name one president in recent times that did not deport. You know what I'm saying? The fact that they had this network for these CDLs, et cetera, that means that this had been going on for years already. This was already a criminal network that had been set up. They are so mad at Trump because guess what? We're talking about billions, maybe even trillions of dollars have just been cut off. They cut off that USA, right? They cut off Ukraine, right? And y'all know Ukraine was getting guap. Ukraine was getting all the money at one time, right? Israel, that's why everybody mad at Israel, because Israel's still getting chipped off and everybody trying to figure out why. You get what I'm saying? Like, dude, come on, man. This was a network that was already going on. Trump said, nah, all that finna stop. So guess what? They got to make him out to be the bad guy. They out here begging for money now. You know what I'm saying? They criminal money laundering operation, it's a wrench in it. Trump wasn't never supposed to win. But see, again, y'all are so indoctrinated to the Democratic Party that you can't connect the dots. You know what I'm saying? On your own. CNN and all them is telling you he the bad guy. No, I'm not saying that he's particularly no great guy. We're just saying, politically speaking, once you see what they was doing for everybody else except you, you really need to be ashamed of yourself. And I'm gonna pass it on that one, Red.
Shout out to Biggie. Scoop, where you at? You got the flow, Scoop.
Salute.
What it do, Scoop?
Man, salute to you, Biggie. Salute to you, Red. Salute to the chat. Man, Man, this is all orchestrated, man. Every bit of it. You know what I'm saying? They know what they doing. They doing us dirty for a reason. The things that they're doing for the illegals and the things that they doing for everybody else is a slap in the face to foundational Black Americans. You know, they make sure that we stay at the bottom. Think about this. Think about a lot of you out there that still want to ride the Democratic plantation. Think about that, right? As Big E say, what is your loyalty to these people? I ain't telling y'all to go Republican, but I'm telling you to get off that Democratic plantation. I'm telling you that because, like E just said, look at what they do for illegals that they won't do for you. That's like having siblings. And let's say your mama say, okay, we going to the store, but ain't nobody getting anything. But then when you get to the store, everybody gets something but you. You ain't gonna feel some type of way. Like, wait a minute. You told me you didn't have money for all that. You wasn't getting nobody anything. But how come everybody else got something but you left me out? You excluded me. And then you tell me, wait a minute. You need to stay in a child's place. You don't question what I do. Yeah, as a kid, you gonna feel some type of way. You gonna feel some type of way about your siblings because you're gonna like, man, wait a minute. Why y'all so special? Y'all didn't even ask for nothing. I asked for something. I got told no. We got to the store. Everybody gets something but me. So I'm gonna feel like you just targeted me. You just didn't want to see me get anything. Hence, those are our politics. And ain't nobody waking up. Ain't nobody seeing that. CDL tests. Okay, they have to be passed for you to get a CDL. There's a process. A process first, you got to go to the DMV and pass to get your permit. I know I got one. There's 3 tests that you have to take. You have to pass those 3 tests. You don't pass those 3 tests, you can't even step on a yard to drive a truck. You can't even get on the yard without that permit. You have to pass that. You only get so many times to pass that. So you have to study before you walk into that DMV. So you're telling me that they just handing out CDLs and these people don't have no knowledge of what it takes to drive a truck? You have safety tests, you have combination tests, and you also have general knowledge, which you have to pass to be able to step on a yard. So you're telling me that these people haven't even been able to step on a yard because they just went straight to the front of the line and got their CDLs.
Don't even know English, Scoop. They didn't even know English.
Facts, Biggie, facts. And you guys still talking about you friends of the Democrats? You still want to vote for these people? And like he said in the chat earlier, you big ignorants are going to go out there and try to put Gavin Newsom as the president. Really? Are we just, oh my God, Red has said it so many times. Are we that dumb? Like, what is the definition? Hey, Red, what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I'm like, come on, man. Y'all ain't seen the play. Y'all ain't woke up. I mean, I understand some of y'all ain't got street smarts, but dang, the writing's on the wall. You can't be that ignorant. You just can't be. So we are in a position because we got coons, we got sellouts, and we got people that don't understand the assignment. These people don't care about you. It's getting worse and worse. They have literally basically took a bucket of pee and threw it in your face, and you sitting there licking it. Talking about
hey, Scoop, let me say this real quick, and I gotta go, Red. Let me say this real quick. This is what I be talking about the magic carpet rider. Oh, well, everybody else come over here and they're more successful than you. Well, hell, if you can go walk into and get a CDL, don't even know English, if you can go get free housing, if you can go get free everything to set yourself up, how can you not succeed? And I'm going to just land with that. I got to go. Good chopping it up with y'all. Red, I'm going to holler, set up your Zelle. Scoop, salute, drink y'all water, eat y'all veggies, enjoy the rest of y'all day, and keep winning.
Shout out to Big E, man. Yeah, man, I'm gonna land too because I gotta make something happen. But shit, hey, but Scoop, shit, you can go ahead and land, my brother. You got the flow.
Like I said before, Red, people need to understand. They putting people on the road. This is your Democratic Party that you people want to support. Putting people on the road and putting your families and lives in danger. Like I said, I say it again, for brothers that want to do it, that want to get in trucks, you have 3 tests that you must pass. General knowledge, combination, and air brakes. Those are 3. All of those pretty much deal with safety and how to safely drive a truck. This is what the Democrats who told you they can't do reparations. The people that's told you we ain't got nothing for you. The people that told you, oh, we don't have that kind of money. The people that told some of you females, oh no, you're going to be convicted of welfare fraud because you spent too much. We accidentally overpaid you. Oh no, you can only get this much on that EBT. When they have came here and got unlimited everything, down from healthcare to jobs to so-called training, which evidently was, hey, we just gonna give it to you. You ain't got to do the training. And y'all still loyal to these people? When is enough enough? Why is my community so much to where we only are reactive and never proactive? You don't see the writing on the wall? Nobody thinks like, let's do something about it before it gets to that point. We can't afford to wait. We can't afford to sit on our hands. We can't afford to assume. We can't afford to take people's word. We can't afford none of that. Ain't we been stepped on enough? Ain't we been lied to enough? Ain't we been took advantage enough? And you want to do it again? If y'all put Gavin Newsom in the office of president, the highest honor that you can, if black folks come out and go to town for Red, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with y'all. I'm done. I'm done talking. I'm done trying to educate. And the faith in my community is gone after that because I'm cool. I'm cool. If y'all that ignorant, but sitting there talking about you want reparations, and you put a man that's in my state of California who already basically has blocked those reparations several times, and y'all think he deserves the highest honor, and y'all black folks come out for him like you did for Kamala and put that man in office, Red, I'm done. And I'm gonna land it right there.
Shout out to Scoop, man. Hey, man, for real. I said it a long time ago, too. I'm like, are we this foolish? You know, you got black people who listen to bozos like Daniels. Most of his, I don't even gonna get into that clown, like the Officer Tatums, the Antons, the Angry Mans, and the list goes on. Shout out to Yaya. Shout out to Yaya's kids, man. Yaya's kids, I appreciate you for the super chat. Yeah, if we're this foolish, at some point you got to throw the towel in and say, I'm done. Because it's like, if we're that dumb, I don't want anything to do with a group of people who are that foolish. Now, I got faith in some of us, but the sad part about it is a lot of our people are still Democrats. I'm not saying that we need to be Republicans, and I'm not saying that we need to be Democrats. We need to be independent thinkers as foundational Black Americans moving forward. Right, that's the solution right there. Right, left wing, right wing, it comes from the same bird. You know, you might have differences, but at the end of the day, they're promoting similar agendas, and that's to control you. You know, somebody told me, well, the Republicans are screwing us. Well, the Democrats are screwing you. They're both screwing you. They're just screwing you in different ways. But at the end of the day, you are still being screwed. Anyway, man, peace to everybody. I got to get up out of here. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. It's been wonderful, man. It's been good. And if you didn't have an opportunity to speak on this show, you will have the opportunity to speak on the next show, the second show of the day. But right now, I got to make a move. It's time to daily improve. Shout out to the people. You already know. Hold on, man. I might have room for one more clip that I wanted to play for you guys, man. I might have room for one more clip. And we're going to get into this. Shout out to my people. You already know. You know what I'm saying? What is this right here, man? Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Chaos and lawlessness. What? What do you mean, lawlessness? You know, the immigrants are promoting lawlessness, right? Fighting to legalize border hopping. It's exactly what they're doing. And, you know, yeah, they're arresting rideshare people, man. You know, because you got a lot of rideshare people, you know, a lot of people getting arrested. And because you got to think, man, a lot of immigrants are rideshare drivers. So rightfully so, man. You feel me? Let me see where we at, man. He said, wow, man. Shout out to the people. I appreciate you guys for tapping on in, man, and supporting this content. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Royalty, shout out to you. You always been rocking. You always been supporting the content. Shout out to Lim Hendricks, most definitely. Shout out to Frank. Shout out to Frank Battle, man. Frank Battle, you've been rocking as well, man. Shout out to Frank Battle. You already know, man. We're going to continue to give you guys this hot content. And we're going to continue to share this knowledge and information. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep working. We're going to keep grinding. Already, like my people in Texas say, already. Shout out to my Texas people. You know? Yes, sir, man. It's been a whole lot to talk about with this, man. Hit the like button. It ain't nothing. Boris Shock, man. Shout out to Boris Shock, man. Appreciate you for being up in the building, my brother. Like always. You know, we appreciate you. Let's go to this next clip, man. I'm going to play one more clip and we're going to get up out of here, man. One more clip. He said, "Why I got arrested by ICE agents." Hey, man, it's plain and simple. It's plain and simple. The reality.
Agents have been on the move in Chicago again today, moving from the Little Village area to the city's north side. And that's where a Laugh Factory manager was taken into custody in Lakeview. This as Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino is...
Oh, no, not that one. I showed that one. Hold on.
Welcome to the early edition of the news at 10. I'm Hunter Funk. It's been 1 week since the FBI launched a search warrant into an illegal gambling operation in Wilder. The FBI says that search warrant led to 105 people who were undocumented to being detained by ICE. Abby Welt joining us in studio now. You've been following this story all week. And Abby, there's been a lot of confusion on what went on that week. What exactly happened since last Sunday?
Right, Hunter. It's been a week of fear, trauma, and people recounting what they experienced Sunday with KT. From the initial raid to now families separated from their loved ones. We'll break down what all has unfolded. Sunday, October 19th, started as a quiet race day at La Catedral Arena in Wilder. Until at around 2 p.m. when more than 200 federal, state, and local law enforcement officers swarmed into the arena. They started seizing people nearby, and people were getting their wrists zip-tied.
You were fully zip-tied until your wrist couldn't move anymore.
They were then taken to a holding area inside the arena.
We were just all in a bunch. It wasn't even it was just a bunch, just trying to get out of there.
Shortly after, anyone who was not detained was forced out of the arena. Everyone has been moved out of the arena. You can see behind me just who all is here. We know that there is ICE here, the Department of Homeland Security, the Drug Enforcement Administration, Idaho State Police, and the Wilder Police Department. And the waiting for answers began.
Honestly, I'm just waiting to see if
they're truly going to let the people that have proper documentation go.
Slowly, people with documentation started to get released, and those without documentation got loaded into a white van and taken to unknown locations in Boise and Mount Home. On Monday, October 20th, families woke up with an empty seat at the table.
I've only slept like 2 hours. It's been so tough.
Many rushed to the Elmore County Jail, where the ACLU of Idaho found that many of the detainees were being held. Others went back to La Catedral to pick up cars of people who were taken.
If he's gonna come home to me and the kids, the grandbabies and my son and my daughter and all of his friends, because they keep calling me all night long and asking me if I heard anything. It's too sad. I hope nobody goes through this.
At the same time, 5 other people were being held at the Ada County Jail for an alleged illegal gambling operation that the FBI says is what prompted the Sunday raid. That was Yvonne Tellez, the owner of La Catedral, alongside Samuel Bijarno, Diana Fajardo, Alejandro Torres Estrada, and Cesar Orozco were all accused of allegedly assisting in the gambling operation. Protesters took to the Canyon County Administration building, demanding answers as to why more than 100 people were detained when the operation was to arrest.
Now, my next stream is going to be about this, and we're going to get into the Mexican cat who spoke on why his people are racist, why a lot of his people have been indoctrinated with anti-black racism. We're going to speak on that, but we're going to wrap this one up, man. We hit the 2-hour mark. I appreciate everybody for sliding through and supporting this show. You guys are highly appreciated, man. We rocking over here. So everybody, we're going to get everybody from TV1 to come over here to King Supreme, because why? We're going to be doing a whole lot of work over here, and we're going to continue to push forward. Anyway, man, peace, love, and blessings. Give you gain to keep you from stressing. It's your player partner, King Supreme. Make sure that you bless that stream. Hit that like button in a major way, y'all. I'm gone. Peace. I'll be back in a